You may encounter defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. Maya Angelou. On today's episode, I will share with you the last portion of my interview with Jennifer Grayer from Lollybop Sweet Shop. When asked what one piece of advice she would give to an aspiring or new entrepreneur, Jennifer went above and beyond and left us with several tips. Welcome to the Stitch for Success podcast. I'm your host, Monica Allen. I'm a wife, mom, daughter, entrepreneur, author, friend, and lifelong learner. For over 8 years, I was trapped in corporate America and dreamed of escaping. I took the leap over 15 years ago, retiring from corporate. With just $700 and an idea, over the years we have grown multiple six-figure and seven-figure brands. I have mentored and employed dozens of other people along the way. The road has not been easy. I have battle wounds, bruises, and scars to prove it. And on this podcast, I share lessons learned from my failures and successes. You will also learn from other business owners who have become stitched for success as they pursue their entrepreneurial passions. My goal and hope for you is that you can learn from our mistakes and our wins and have an extremely successful business that stands the test of time. I did not realize when I started this series with Jennifer that this month is National Women's Small Business Month. It's celebrated in the month of October. But I thought to myself, well, this interview series is quite appropriate because Jennifer was a female small business owner. And though she did decide to close her doors this year, she has so much insight that she has been more than willing to share not only with other women, but all entrepreneurs. When researching more information about women in business, I was excited to find the following statistics in a business.com article. Women own 42% of the businesses in the United States, up from 4.6% in 1972. Women-owned businesses generate $1.9 trillion annually. Women of color account for 50% of female business owners. And there are nearly 13 million women-owned businesses in the United States employing 9.4 million workers. I don't know about you, but this should be exciting for all of us, men and women, as our country relies heavily on small businesses. It is essential that we celebrate these successes and help each other continue to grow and prosper. Let's listen to the last part of my series with Jennifer Grayer. If you had one tip that you would share with an aspiring entrepreneur or someone who's just getting started in their business, what would it be?
So I'm going to say, actually, it can't just be one. Like it's so many. Like one, you need a really good, solid business plan. And then you need somebody impartial to look over your business plan and see where there might be some gaps and loopholes. Two, you need the right amount of funding. So if you want to self-fund like I did, that's awesome, but I don't suggest it. So if you have people that can invest in your dream and your vision, that's even better. Three, you need the right type of staff to help you. And not just a lot of people, but you have to have the key people that are going to help you. So nobody that's going to drag you down. You have to have everybody that is pulling their weight. It's very hard to hire people that you're friends with because sometimes they are hard to manage because they may get the vision and the dream, but they may not be as dedicated to it as you are. And it's kind of hard to sever those ties if it doesn't work out. That was three. Four, if you are picking a retail location, you need to be very strategic about what that customer base is going to be looking for in that spot. I would say five, what you touched on before, if your business solves a problem, then you're already ahead of the game. If you can create your own lane and solve a problem, then you are probably going to be super awesome and successful. And then what was the last thing that we talked about? I feel like
mentor.
You definitely need a mentor. And not just somebody that's going to be like your cheering squad, but somebody that has maybe even had a few failures under their belt to show you how they got back up and started it the right way so that you can learn from their mistakes. But most importantly, I would say when you start a venture, like you can't be afraid of the failure. because there are very few first-time businesses that make it and make it for a significant amount of time. But the lessons that you take from it are just going to help you get to that success later. So, don't let like failures and setbacks discourage you. Just know that it's part of the journey and that it's a lesson learned, and that you're supposed to take the lesson and keep it moving. So if you stop, then the dream stops. So you got to keep it going.
That is very true. And there will be, even if your business survives the test of time, there are always going to be setbacks throughout.
Absolutely. It can be a product launch that failed.
Right.
But you can't let that stop you. You have to figure out how to do it and how to do it better and how to do it differently. But you don't keep trying to do the same thing over and over again and getting the same mediocre results. You have to step back. You have to be able to get out of the weeds and step back and look at things objectively and know when it's time to cut your losses or do things differently. And don't just be so held onto one idea and one way of doing things, because people are willing to pay you for your services and your skills, because you're the only one that can do what you do, but you just may have to remix that into a way that they can find more valuable.
Right. I interviewed another entrepreneur last week, and one of the things he said was logic over emotion. And I love that, because I can be so emotionally attached to things. Mm-hmm. And you have to be willing to change and pivot if something's not working, and you can't be emotional about it. It's about making the change that's needed. You do, because we have these lofty dreams, and even these visions that we see, and it just may be not in the right time for that to be fulfilled, but you're still on your journey and on your way. This is just a stepping stone on the way. But just because this one didn't work out does not mean that, your vision stops. Like, you still have to keep going, and you do have to take the emotion out of it, even though you've probably been praying and meditating on it for years and years and years. But it just may be brought to you in a different way. So you have to be open to new ideas and new ways of doing things, which, sometimes organically people will bring straight to you and give you some ideas on how to do things. But you have to be open and receptive. I will not rehash Jennifer's tips, but I hope you took notes, and I hope this series of interviews will be helpful to you as you start or continue on your entrepreneurial journey. I'm so grateful to Jennifer for giving of her time and sharing so openly and authentically with the Stitched for Success audience. And happy National Women's Small Business Month. If you are a female business owner, congratulations. Take a moment to celebrate. I know this year has been tough for all of us, but keep hanging in there, and let's continue to grow the percent of women-owned businesses. And also, let's continue to support our small businesses all over the country. Hashtag Small Business Rocks. Thank you so much for listening to the Stitched for Success podcast. I'm so happy that you chose to listen today. If you have not already, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. This helps the podcast continue to grow and hopefully make a difference. If you want to continue any part of this conversation, please email me at stitchedforsuccess@gmail.com, or you can direct message me on Instagram at stitchedforsuccess. I would love if you would follow me on Instagram as well. I post inspirational quotes, and I also enjoy sharing some of the creative projects we're working on. Lastly, if you are interested in a complimentary coaching session, please visit stitchedforsuccess.com and click at the top of the page to complete the form to sign up. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great one.